which used to be an idea, if I remember correctly. I visit so many times. One of my first customers in Abu Dhabi, almost 25 years ago. He is now manager director of Alphabit digital currency funds. So funds investments are quite important in getting traction in this new DeFi world, as well as any other blockchain project. And the second person is Bijan Alizadeh, which is managing partner at Phoenix Venture Capital Fund. So please, I invite you on stage, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I see much less people today than yesterday. I guess most of the people yesterday were talking about blockchain. And if you don't really understand blockchain, then I guess decentralized finance is even more complicated. So thank you for coming. Bijan, how's it going?
Very good. Thanks everybody for coming. And my name is Bijan Alizadeh. So from Phoenix Group, we are formed in 2015 as a mining company, and we are a distributor of Bitmain for Middle East and Europe. And also we formed a Phoenix Venture Capital in 2019 to invest in blockchain companies and startups.
So I know we've been working closely together, myself and you and Vineet, and we've been investing in a lot of DeFi projects. So just curious to know what got you attracted to decentralized finance, and what made you decide to invest in the projects that we invested in?
So for us, it came as a necessity. So when we mine Bitcoin, we always were looking to buy more equipments, and we went all the routes. We went to the US, to the banks, to the financial institutions, and the response we got is a very small amount of money for a very high interest. They considered it as a very risky business. But once the DeFi came in, we jumped on it because we could leverage and fold our business multiple times by having the opportunity to not selling the coins and just get a loan against it. So for us, we came into that, and then afterwards, we could provide liquidity in these platforms, Uniswap, XYZ, the DEXs. So for us, it was the last piece of the puzzle that we need to grow significantly faster. And then we met you guys as the lead investor in the projects, with you guys having great analysts that we follow essentially your footsteps.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that, but we do a lot of due diligence on a lot of projects, and I think you know, it's also important to be able to see all the projects that are coming up, and getting in early into these deals is pretty difficult unless you've got a good network of people who are out there looking for projects. So my question to you is, other than following what we're investing in, what kind of interests you when we send you some projects or deal flow? What do you look at?
So we look at the value proposition first. We look at what is this project different from everything else. We don't want to invest in a projects that are essentially copycat to the other ones. We look at the team. We look at the early back investors. What have they done prior to this? So overall, we look at all these 3-4 items, and then we decide that should we come in in an equity level, in a token level, in early seed or which stage?
I think one of the issues that I feel with these projects that are all coming out, that the Ethereum network is very congested right now. Gas prices, and you know, I mean, I tend to do my yield farming and staking on the weekend because it's significantly cheaper. But if you're doing transaction throughout the week, then it's really expensive. So what I'm trying to get to is, I think with all these projects, the ones that probably are the most interesting are the ones that are with the Polkadot ecosystem. I think they built a good community and ecosystem, and any of these projects that are raising used, and they say they're going to build on Polkadot, usually there's a lot of hype around it. But do you feel that there's any other, improvements in the layer one protocols out there that would help with the DeFi projects?
Exactly what you're mentioning is what we are facing right now. The network fees, it's really high, especially if you want to roll out your yield farming. You have to, per transaction, pay up to $100, which this is not for us as an old timer. We were saying that the whole thing about blockchain is small transaction fee, faster. Nowadays, if you put it the transaction fee low, it takes a long time on Ethereum blockchain, so you get your transaction. Polkadot, it's the rising star for sure. We all believe in it. They didn't try to change everything. They are trying to make things better, and uh, this is exactly what we believe as well.
Yeah, I think also in terms of what DeFi projects can offer as well on these existing protocols is, I think, limited, and because of that, there's not really projects that are bringing out products which are, actually disrupting the traditional finance space. Because decentralized finance is what it ultimately is bringing in not the big money, but like the everyday money or retail to be able to actually access financial products in a decentralized manner. So I think we need to have a solution for projects to build on, which is actually making things much more efficient and enabling them to focus on innovating and coming up with new products. But I guess I'm biased in saying this, but I think I've been advising Casper Labs for a few months, and I think what they can offer as a solution to projects that are trying to build DeFi products is the network has the capability to be able to make things much faster, cheaper, and actually much more flexible to be able to allow for products out there which will compete with traditional finance. So I don't know if you've had a look at Casper Labs or any other protocols and what you think.
Casper Lab, again, it's one of the products that we invested a big allocation with them. Uh, in general, I think that for DeFi, it's the earliest stage. We need more adoption. We need more complex product. So as this wave is going, I think the projects are getting better. They are getting much more detailed, tailored to the customers, and I think the people are start to realize that the security is there, the keys are burned, the platforms have been audited. So the more we go into this, the more institution will bring money into this, and it's going to get bigger, I believe, in the next 2 years by 10 to 20x. Now we are just seeing that the people who are in the industry, we are in the industry, we believe in this. We believe from day one that things are going to grow significantly, but still there are institutions that are hesitant. And the news that nowadays we see in regards to Tesla or all the other big companies, that they are putting some of their free cash flow within the crypto and blockchain space, this is going to increase and grow this significantly. I mean, if you look at a traditional banking system in some part of the world, you need to pay the banks to keep your money. While if you put it simply in a DeFi platform, you make 7 to 8%. If you want to be more into it, you can do yield farming, you go to 30%, 35%. But this is basically disrupting and amazing.
Absolutely. Maybe if we touch on, say, auditing of smart contracts, and also if DeFi protocol has, maybe through a partnership with an insurance cover provider, would you be more inclined to invest in a project that, has done a audit by one of the well-known brands, and if they do have a way for you to ensure your, in case there's a smart contract hack, is that something that would make you more bullish on a project, or how do you feel about that?
You exactly touch base on the key point. So the problem is right now we invest in a different DeFi platform as a client. But the problem is always you have that question that what if something goes wrong? At the end of the day, it's a tech and it's a smart contract. What if somebody finds a backdoor? And if there is an insurance coverage in any of the platform that comes in, definitely we are the first one as an institutional client that we're gonna join in, because that is gonna be the missing part basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any projects that Bija or and Vineet has recommended to you that you feel you're going to be going into in the near future? Has he told you about Launchpool?
He explained to me, the launch pool as well. But to be honest, the Casper is the one that we are really interested, and we think that there is a very big upside on Casper, and they are oversubscribed by 30x. So
I
that
don't know.
shows
I
that.
don't know where you got that information from, but I think I also agree that they're really, doing something that will actually benefit this the DeFi sector. And yeah, I mean that's why I've been involved with them, and I'm excited about their potential. But yeah, I mean talking about Launchpool, I think that along with the likes of Polka Starter, there's CoinList, there's a platform called Pools. These kind of launch pads or incubators, I guess, are something that we see really growing fast and becoming very popular. There's also paid. They have Ignition platform. So if you had an opportunity or you saw these platforms, would you look at those and invest directly through those?
Yes, the paid network we invested with them, definitely, and the pools as an incubator, we are both on a token side and equity side with them. So we were very early. We are looking to do some equity with them. We really think that platforms like this will help DeFi project to grow much faster. And as I look at DeFi as a sort of not uh, enemy of traditional banking, this will essentially work hand to hand with traditional banking. Uh, the bank sort of will understand that this wave, you cannot stop it. You just need to regulate it. You just need to essentially put parameters that you can work alongside each other. So yes, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, there's only so many deals and there's only so much you can analyze and research of the new projects that are coming up. And there's so many that are coming up that for me, I feel these platforms are actually what's needed and there is a gap in the market. So I think, utilizing those platforms will help us,
Yes.
as investors and, you know, um, freeing up our time to actually, rather than going into the deep details of a project, just look at the high level, maybe speak to the team, and then decide if we want to invest or not. So I'm excited about that.
So let me ask you a question. So what parameters you consider when you want to invest as an expert in this region?
So when it comes to DeFi, I think apart from all the common denominators of looking at projects in general, I think with DeFi projects, for me, it's looking at if they're adding something or they have something unique that's not in the market out there, and if they're actually targeting a specific area that's going to disrupt a specific area within traditional finance that isn't being disrupted with decentralized finance. So like, I think the main thing with that is just finding a project which, has something unique, innovative, and has the potential to disrupt part of the traditional finance that other projects haven't touched on yet. So I think that's pretty important. Also, I mean, coming back to the, the Ethereums and the Polkadots, and there's Kava out there and Binance Smart Chain, they're all, trying to provide a the layer one, which people can build on. But I think also, for the actual institutions and big investors to come in, they need to see projects that can really disrupt by having a platform where they can do so much more than they're currently doing on Ethereum and all these other layer ones. So how do you think that's going to affect investors in the future?
I mean, as an investor, I think we have two things. We all look at the profitability when we enter a project, but at the same time, having seen what happened in 2017, we have to be very selective on the project we invest in, because now a lot of people look at what we invest and they're going to invest as well. So the whole community, we don't want to see what happened with the whole ICOs, that a lot of project launched and a lot of them failed as well. So a lot of people burned their hand and they decided to not to invest in the industry. So the whole industry growth is based on the people, the normal people who invest in the projects. There should be a guidance or groups that they see what are the good projects, because not every project out there, as you mentioned, there are hundreds of projects launching every month. So it's very important that uh, the whole community essentially help each other, because we are a decentralized community. We have to help each other to choose a good projects to keep the momentum going. So that's, for me, it's one of the most important stuff that uh, because we have a responsibility. Once we go there, for example, your name comes up, a lot of people, if Alphabet invest in it, they will follow your footstep. So it's very important.
Yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned that, because last week somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn, and he pointed out to a website and a project that he put money into, and he said, "Hey, I saw that Alphabet invested, so I put in all of my savings into this, blockchain project." And I said, "Okay, can you share the details?" And when I looked into it, it was a clear scam. And I felt bad for him. I was like, "Why didn't you actually talk to actually one of these funds that they claimed were invested and find out?" But I guess it was too late by then. I think the last 2 points I want to touch on is liquidity and community of these DeFi projects that are coming out. So how do you feel that if you saw that there was not enough liquidity or not a big enough community, would that, determine if you would invest and how much you would invest?
It's actually funny. I used to look at DeFi polls, and I used to look at that this project has this much of liquidity, but the token compared to the other ones is cheaper. So we used to invest in that manner. But in general, liquidity plays an important role. Why we use Uniswap, for example, it's because of the liquidity. We are one of the first liquidity provider. Definitely, we mine Ethereum, Bitcoin, we put it there with USDT, and we got Uniswap, which it grows significantly, the platform itself. But again, we go back, there improvement indexes? Yes. Transaction fees are now above the moon. You have to pay for a simple swap of, let's say, 100 compound token, you need to pay $50. So essentially you have to pay 1% of your capital on transaction fee, and that wasn't something that promised in the beginning. So there are rooms for improvement, but as the liquidity of the project definitely is important for us.
What about community of the project?
Oh, that community and the developer, it's all about community when it comes to decentralization. So definitely it's very important. The community, the people who are around it, definitely is important.
What about if, who their influencers are, who their advisors are? Is that something you look at?
the development, so when it comes to investing in a DeFi project, the main character, everybody, so I don't want to be sound pessimistic, but people can come up with the great ideas, but bringing the idea to reality, it's about the team and the influencers and the advisors and the people around it. So if you ask me, that comes more than the idea itself.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I tend to agree. I think we're out of time. I don't know if there's Q&A or we just end it. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you very much.